Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fly's pre-game presser. I'm reacting to this live, so let's stick around and have a listen. It's time to talk all things black and white. So what we'll do is we'll listen to the audio and just react live. It's really simple. We've got about 8 minutes of content here to listen to with Fly, so let's see where he leads us this week. Let's go.
Fly, not often there's a 100-year celebration down at Collingwood.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about your special guest this morning.
Yeah, Lottie turns 100 on Sunday, so we wanted to celebrate the incredible support that she's given us since 1925. Unbelievable, huh? And she's got so much life left in her, and incredible to see that energy, and we fed off it, yeah.
And she knew all the players. She didn't miss a beat, did she?
Yeah, no, she said she loved me, which was nice. No, it's really cool to celebrate, her birthday, but also, what our fans mean to us. We want to bring our fans along for the ride, and 112,000 members is remarkable, and to have one that's been supporting us since 1925 is just incredible.
Just a quick one on that. What I'm learning this year more than any other is how footy and the Collingwood Football Club transcends beyond just what happens for 120 minutes on the field. There is you hear community, you hear friendship, you hear everything else. It's one thing to know it, but it's another to feel it. And I feel like we're getting to a point with our family in particular, guys, the Pies footy community. I feel like we're developing something that is really special. Like little things like the love you guys have given our family over the last 24 hours, the love you've given for this whole ride that it has been this year with the Pies. We've got a Discord group that has over 100 members, have nearly on average 100 of you sitting in a live stream, just chewing the fat about the black and white. So that's, I just want to say thank you guys.
Sunday, isn't it?
Sunday birthday.
So you've got to give her an early present Friday night.
Absolutely, yep. We'll have our... There we go. Yeah. Okay, we can keep it down now. We're good.
Well, not a newsline you'd probably like to be attached to this week with your opponents last week. How is the group, and how do you avoid the noise of what's happened?
In which regard?
In the rank and stuff.
Oh, yeah, we're process-driven in terms of what we can control. There's a process in place that AFL have obviously got involved in that, and I think as an industry we've been slow to the party, but we just don't want to accept these behaviours in our workplace. I think no one wants that in their workplace, and the AFL industry is no different.
Your player, okay?
Yeah, I think so. We had a good chat over the weekend, and then again Monday morning just to check in, and it's about making sure our players are safe, but also I don't want to demonise Isaac either. Everyone's allowed to make mistakes. The young lad seems like a really respectful young man, and he's made an error. So, the AFL will take their own course on that, but you're allowed to make mistakes too, so we respect that.
Context is always important. Like there was obviously some to and fro and dialogue ongoing in that game. He said what he said. He's going to have to wear the suspension. It's unfortunate. I always say we're not infallible as human beings. We'll make mistakes, and 4 to 5 weeks is, in my opinion, a little bit harsh. Does it favour the Collingwood faithful in any way? Maybe, especially if we come up against them in the qualifying final. But I feel sorry for Isaac, but the rules are the rules, guys. The rules are the rules, and you've got to tread carefully. And unfortunately, he went one too far, and that's just where we are right now.
Provocation in terms of a submission and that. Is there no provocation for something like that, do you think?
I don't want to have he said, she said stuff. I think the reality is, and we're all really comfortable with what we want our workplace to look like, and these things step over the boundary line.
No Bobby Hill at training.
No, I had dinner with Bobby last night. As I continue to say, it's a week by week, day by day thing with Bobby. It was just nice to catch up with him on a social level, just to check in, care for him. There's two things that I always live by. There's high performance and there's love and care. And I've just sort of left the high performance for now and just making sure the young lad's okay. Time's running out in the season, and maybe the high performance might be a bit far at the moment, but we'll just take that off the table for now, and hopefully he can get back in the club and then be happy, and then we'll see where we go from there.
So you're not
So I think from our perspective, since the non-selection of Bobby last week, where we were a little bit upset as a fan base because we thought it was something to do with conditioning and gastro, but ultimately it's more deep seated than that. And I think that's where we've drawn the line. We said, okay, this is where he's at. It's still personal reasons. He's clearly spiraling to whatever relative context that he might exist in right now. Just got to leave it be. We have to move forward. Hope he gets right mentally first and get his own life right. He wasn't at training all week, so what's the reality of Bobby? What's the realisticness of Bobby Hill coming back this year? Slim. So we just have to live with that. Hope he gets right and move forward. Let's move forward.
Sure, at the moment, if he will play again this season.
I said to him, how do you want me to answer that? And he goes, please just leave a little bit of hope there for me. But he's well aware that that's time's running out and getting enough load and then to be available. So, and then I step straight back into love and care and say, mate, let's just get you right day by day, huh?
I like that. So Fly asked Bobby when they caught up for the dinner, if this question gets asked, what do you want me to say? And Bobby said, leave a little bit of hope. So, yeah, it's there just in case.
Mason Cox? Yeah, Mason's name is certainly his magnets there in match committee to decide whether we choose to play him this week. Our connection inside 50 has been a little bit off. Lots of numbers back inside our forward 50 in multiple weeks now. It looks like the opposition are enjoying camping back there, which makes it hard to score, but we've got to get better at that, the methods around that. He'll be discussed.
Ooh, what are we saying? Mason Cox's name comes up. McStay I had in the predicted 23 in. I find it hard that he gets dropped, but the fact that Mason's name has come up and Fly has mentioned it, he looks pretty certain about a way in considering Mason. Wow, that can change the structure of our side. Coxy in, McStay out. Hopefully it helps. Coxy had 20 touches and a goal in the VFL against Port Melbourne, was it? Was it Port Melbourne last week? So, at least he can take some form. Numbers-wise, I didn't watch the game, guys. I didn't watch the game, but I heard Coxy went all right. So, hopefully he can take, if he does get selected, he can take that into the game against the D's.
Just back on Bobby, just the last one on that was the care and support the players are putting around him and that as well. Is that really important going forward? That's more important than playing right now?
I think so, in terms of the approach to it. It's private, it's personal. I'm sure you've probably done your own research and reading and digging to find out, but at the end of the day, the young lad's got a lot on his plate. And so I go to care and make sure he's okay, and then I don't have answers, but I do have a heart that's open to listen, and again, we day by day, we hope he gets better.
How's Jeremy Howe tracking?
Fit and ready to go. Yep, how we'll play.
That's a bonus from the back perspective.
Yeah.
Having a place like that coming straight back in.
Yeah, we showed last week that it wasn't about one person, and I stood here last week saying, we've got work to do on our defence, but it wasn't one person, and our system looked really strong again. It was hard to score against. It kept an opposition to 37 inside 50s while we had 70. But how we come back and his experience is important to us, and I think he'll play a system really well.
Good to hear that. It's also good that Howe is coming in where we've had a reasonably stable game in the back half and everything's clicking together. So for Howie to come in, not with this expectation to fix all of our problems, he comes in after a week where we had a really solid team performance. So hopefully he just fits in seamlessly. He is the bastion of our backyard at the same time. So he does offer a lot at an individual level, but it's nice to come in without the weight of the world on his shoulders to fix what's going on in the back half.
About sort of a safe workplace and what you want it to look like. Have you had to cover off anything with Dan Houston at all about, if Isaac was reminded about the sort of concussion incident, is that a relevant factor?
Again, I'm not going to go into what is rumoured to have happened. I'll leave it with the AFL's hands around, what's, the punishment, if you like, for want of a better term, for just stepping over the boundary line.
What you might want it to look like then, like independent of your place, just as an industry, how you'd like this handled?
No, I just don't think there's a place for it. I think any workplace. I'm sure in your workplace and wherever you go, we're creating a level of finally getting a standard where people can be safe to be who they are. And you know, I have high values and high morals, but I make mistakes too. But you know, there's a workplace we want to have safe and be able to just work within. Yeah.
How's Dan McStay going at the moment?
Yeah, we're working hard at Dan to get him moving and be part of our best team, and a lot of work behind the scenes to work on his craft, you know, jumping the ball well and, you know, fit into our patterns. He's an important part of our team. We need him at his best.
He'll play this week for sure.
Well, we'll get a way up. It's a very, very pointed question. There'll be a decision made whether we play Mason or Dan potentially. Yeah, we'll wait and see how that plays out.
I like the honesty. I like how he's being brutally direct. It's clear. He mentions Mason Cox's name. The journo asks about Dan McStay. It's clear, and Fly pretty much all but confirms that it's one or the other. And McStay at his best this year, you probably have him ahead of Cox, but he's not there right now. But neither is Mason. So it's like, which way do you want to go? What risk are you willing to take? And maybe, especially against a Max Gawn, guys, maybe Mason Cox is the option for the game on Friday night.
This week, last time you played him, pretty topical tag. How do you get the best of it this time?
Yeah, I remember last time I wasn't happy how we looked after Nick, and you know, the AFL world, you know, put a spotlight on that, and we went to work on what that looked like. Hasn't been tagged for a few weeks, Nick, but we're well aware of what was and what could be.
Just in terms of like the way teams are playing against you, have you noticed that the last 5-6 weeks there's been a shift in terms of the way teams are playing you?
Yeah.
How can you combat that?
Yeah, there is. There's a trend. There's a pattern of a lot of numbers back. You know, there's a pattern of us not connecting inside 50. You know, there's a pattern of, you know, other things I won't say out loud, but there's little patterns. But also there's a trend of us taking things away from ourselves. And you know, last week was a good step forward. You know, we had a really poor performance, which we stood in and accepted wasn't good enough for our fans or for us, and we turned some things around. There's an energy inside the building that we took a big shift forward last week.
The next step is just to go all in on being more diverse in the way we attack as well. Don't just submit to booting it back inside forward 50. Find a way to open up angles a little bit more. We did that a couple times, but the wet conditions don't help. But like our more senior players to take it on more, display the level of bravery that's needed to be a premiership fancy side going into this final series.
4 points didn't come with us. Our pressure was back, and our fight was back, and our system was there to be seen.
Is that a bit similar, like 2023? I know they're completely different years, different systems and the like, but you had a couple of down periods in that time leading into the finals. Does that give you great confidence going into it?
There's all different layers, lessons learnt potentially. I do remember that time we didn't have, in 23, didn't have Darcy Moore, Nick Dacos, Bobby Hill and Geordie DeGoey for a fair bit. I thought, we'll be okay. This is a bit different. This is a bit more of, you know, system breakdown and little connection things, and opposition really targeting a few things. So we've got work to do. We're not naive of that.
It's also a little bit more prolonged. It's a longer period of a form slump compared to a 23.
But again, I think we've taken a step forward to where we want to be.
Are you wary that Melbourne, they're going to be really desperate to finish their season strong and that finals out of the question?
Well, that's good because we're both ready to finish our season strong. And no, we expect their best. And you know, we played them King's birthday. They played an outstanding brand of footy. I thought they were really tough at the ball. Took a couple of things away from us, which hopefully we've learnt some good lessons around. And yeah, we expect their best. Yeah.
On that Dacos tag, there's been a lot of changes, obviously, at Melbourne since that King's birthday game. Do you expect they'll go there again, or is it hard to tell with the changes?
Well, we anticipate yes, but then there's the reality. You've got to be ready for whatever, and so we'll have plans in place if it's happening, and then we'll try to exploit it if it's not, which we do most weeks.
All right, so we expect a very bullish Demon side on Friday. They want to finish their season strong. They probably don't want a replication of what happened this time last year when we played them in that final round. So there's that rides into it. There's the King birthday clash. They're going to look for ways to upset us going into the final series. The Stephen Mays of the world, the Tom Langdons, and to the Nick Dacos tag. I mean, let them do it. We still won in the end, and we'll find other ways to win. And if it takes away Ed Langdon, I said Tom Langdon. One or the other. I think it's Ed Langdon. Tom Langdon was one of our own. If Ed Langdon wants to tag himself out of the game, where he is a critical player in the link-up, then so be it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. We'll see you tonight at 6 p.m. for the Pies Presser. And as always, go Pies.